it's just gummy bears.
That sounds amazing. That is the future I am aspiring for. Wow.
And there's no diabetes either. There's a lot of gummy bears, but no diabetes and no cavities.
Hey guys, this is Tom from UDS, back again with another edition of the Quarantine Sessions here in my room in my house. It's not very glamorous, but the show must go on, and I am joined with the creative mind behind the Homeless Gospel Choir, and quite possibly the most handsome musician working today. Coming live from all the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Derek Zanetti.
Hello, everybody. How are you today? Okay?
I can speak for myself, and I'm doing very well. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing this fine. It feels so strange. I've never feelings before, and I've never experienced life in this way before either. So I'm interacting with other people and going out to the supermarket and being inside a lot and not being sure of the future has given me a number of certain thoughts. And it's just, it's man, is it strange.
It really is. It's one of those things that we're going to be talking to, I don't know, our kids, our grandkids, 30, 40, 50 years down the line. And this will be one of those moments that will just go down in history. And it just feels weird that we're living through it at the moment. It's just unreal. I've never known anything like it. But I mean, I've been giving myself a lot of like very rigid tasks, you know. I have a pretty strong, if I don't give myself a schedule, my mind is like a feral cat. It'll just wander and wander and I'll never catch it ever again. So that's it. I have to give myself like a pretty rigid schedule to keep so that, you know, I wake up, I have breakfast, I do my art meditation, I write, I read, I try and get out for a walk, I have my lunch, you know, and then before you know it, it's 10:30 and it's time to go to bed. So like, I think by giving myself, you know, some sort of a measured schedule, I've been able to at least control the demons that are up there. Well, that's it. Over here in the UK at the moment, it's 5 p.m. And I swear I've done more work today than I would do in my day job on a regular day. It's crazy. Like, if you set yourself that schedule, then, yeah, you can actually achieve quite a bit. So it's a good way to live. But in the effort to getting to know each other a little bit better and to, you know, introduce you to the audience and whatnot, if you were a type of sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you be?
If I could be any type of sandwich, what kind of sandwich would I be? I'd want to be a sandwich that's so big that everybody could have a piece. And if they were still hungry after that, they can come back and get a second piece. That's the kind of sandwich I think I'd like to be.
That is a very, very selfless type of sandwich. Any preference on filling or just big? Just size is the thing. I think it would have to be something that everybody likes, something that, you know, would be applicable to most tastes. So maybe like a really nice falafel. That like sounds nice, crunchy, pretty good right now.
Well-fried falafel with like, you know, lettuce and tomato and onion and the sauce and some pickles on there too.
Delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, I for one would love to eat you.
I'm hungry for myself right now.
That's a good attitude to have. That's self-love if I've ever heard it. Anyway, at the time of recording, we are less than 1 month away from the release of your latest album, This Land Is Your Landfill. What can people expect from this record?
We made a loud punk rock record. It was the first time that I've ever gone about writing songs with a full band in mind. So me and Matt, the guitar player, and we sat down for months and months and months, and we started to write these songs together. And they're just super loud and super noisy and super panicky songs about the end of the world. That's what the record's about. It's about feeling strange about how things are shaking out and doing your best to remain positive throughout the storm. on the front cover of the album, there's a picture of me and I'm surfing on this big, huge wave of trash. And hopefully the imagery is reflective of how I try to at least smile through it. Listen, we're all going to have to surf through our own ocean of bullshit that's filled with trash and mess and garbage and filth. And like, how are we going to navigate that? Are we going to let those waves just like crush us and defeat us and pummel us against the rocks? Or are we going to try and get up on a surfboard and like fucking surf through it, you know?
Well, that's it. What is life except just an endless tidal wave of trash? But and it's how, as you say, it's how you react to it. But you mentioned that this is the first time you've approached an album with a full band in mind. So was the overall process much different from your previous albums with that in mind?
It was. I tried to write like acoustic songs. I really did. I tried to sit there for as long as I could, and I thought about all the saddest things I could think of and writing like a sad, slow country song. And I just couldn't think of any music like that. I no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't have any feelings that sounded like that. And all the feelings that I was feeling had a lot of distortion and a lot of feedback and heavy, loud pounding drums and like a bunch of like loud choruses of singing. And like, I couldn't escape that. So making that type of music was just more honest to where I was inside of my own mind. And I knew if I wanted to make that type of music and make that type of sound with a band, the most perfect person to make that music with was Matt. So I called him up and I showed him I just talked to him about what I'd like to do. And from day one, he was on board and we started to craft these songs together.
It's interesting. So it was the songs that necessitated the process rather than the other way around.
Yeah, I thought if I was going to be honest with myself about how I was feeling, the music had to reflect that and it had to sound this way. And I think we did a pretty bang up job over it.
Nice. Can't wait to listen to the whole thing. The first few singles, Art Punks and everything, have been absolutely stellar. So I really can't wait to hear the rest.
Wow, thanks.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but this Friday you're doing a live stream gig on Instagram?
I'm doing 2 of them, yeah.
Amazing, which is BYOB, which is very cool of you. How different is it preparing for a show like this compared to one in, say, a regular venue?
There's snacks down in the fridge, so it's a much more homey atmosphere. I'm not doing as much like yelling and shouting. It's more like a soft, subdued type of a exchange, and it's been awesome, to be honest with you. There have been a ton of folks who have taken time out of their day to join the live stream and interact with it. And it's been like a nice distraction from the numbness of boredom or the panic of the uncertainty of tomorrow. And it's been like a cool way for myself and a core group of loyal Homeless Gospel Choir supporters to like gather and have a sense of community during our time of separation. It's been brilliant. I really enjoyed it.
Well, you mentioned it as a distraction. You've been very open about your experiences with mental health through your music and through interviews. And it's something that really resonates with me personally. I've had my own struggles with depression. And these uncertain times can be very, very difficult, particularly if you do suffer from these issues. So what do you find helps you through these times? Is it the structure and having these distractions to just keep you going?
It certainly is. The structure and the rigid planning that I try and adhere to and stick to has given me a framework that includes therapy still, that includes Skype calls just like this with a live therapist that I would typically go and see and speak to or with, that now we're just doing like a phone call conversation where I'm still doing my regular routine as far as like making sure that I'm taking my time to take care of myself and go to therapy. And even with like discussion groups and art groups, I'm just trying to stick to it as much as I can. I've actually felt fine, surprisingly, these last 2 weeks. If I hadn't, I'd tell you that I wasn't feeling good. But I think the planning and the scheduling has really given my mind some peace, some very needed peace. And I can't speak for everybody. There's so many different things that we have going on inside of our minds. but talking to friends and doing live Skype calls like this with some friends and making sure that's a part of my day has been absolutely wonderful. I get a chance to talk to my mom. We figured out a way. My mother finally got a cell phone that has video. She calls it video conferencing, which I think is hilarious. She was like, I'm telling you, all this video conferencing's driving me nuts. And so I've been having like video chats with my mom, and it's been great. I've been able to video chat with my band, and we're trying to make plans for the summer if there's going to be a summer for us to enjoy. And you know, I really stuck to the plan, and the plan has really given me great stability. So I'm really thankful for my partner Lindsay for helping me, you know, sort out a proper plan, and then the support just help stick with it too. So I feel very fortunate.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's so important to keep that social element of your life, even when you are isolated. You mentioned your mum and video conferencing. I tell you what, I had exactly the same thing trying to convince my parents that working from home is a thing, that people can do office jobs from home. And they're like, oh, so you're not at work? Like, no, I'm very much at work. But yeah, it's cool that it's finally sort of got people to connect in the online world and made the world, in a way, it has made the world smaller, which has been a nice, albeit small, side effect of the greater terribleness. But on to more lighthearted things. If nothing was off the table, what would be on your ultimate rider for a gig?
Oh, man, I don't know. That's a great question to ask. An ultimate rider for a gig. I'll be honest with you. I've tasted all fruit from the tree. I've done DIY touring where would be lucky to get a cold $5 pizza at the end of the night. And I've done big, huge touring with like Frank Turner where we play, you know, 3,000 cap rooms and there's catered anything you could ever imagine or desire. I'm a pretty simple requester. So I'd feel pretty cool if like we got free gasoline, like, you know, if they filled up our car whenever we went to go leave the venue. That would be sick. What else could I put on my rider? An unlimited gas card. Let's see. Like, I don't know. I'm not a fancy person. Like maybe I just get the same thing. Here's why. Let me tell you about my rider. I always get what's on my rider because I keep it so immaculately simple and basic and small. So whenever I send a rider into a venue and I'm like, oh, would just like a jar of organic peanut butter and gluten-free crackers, some hummus and vegetables, and some soda water. Does anybody want some beer? Some of the people want beer. Can we get a case of beer? And then it's like super easy. We get a small case of beer, some soda waters, and some like fresh snacks that we can have before we go on. And like, I've always asked for like it to be very, very simple, and every time we get it. So, yeah, I don't know. Free gasoline. If I could just hit for the fences, fill up my gas tank when I get there and when I leave.
That's the thing. Gasoline is the thing that everyone needs, but I guess no one really thinks about it until you need it. But yeah, that would be great. That'd be great. If again, in sort of the wish fulfillment, maybe let's see how high we can aim. If you could have a homeless gospel choir song featured in anything, whether it be a movie, a video game, a TV show, anything at all, what would it be?
Oh, maybe like a Netflix show. Maybe like a Stranger Things would be cool. Something like that. I always think of an MTV made for TV movie about teenage punk and rebellion. Like that would be like a
that'd be dope.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Like if there was like a TV show about like Green Day American Idiot, about just like a bunch of like derelict degenerate punks like making their way through like life, that would be sick.
That would be that's the
or on like a skateboard video game would be sick too.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We're desperate for a new Tony Hawk game, so it's got to happen soon. And Homeless Gospel Choir would be one of my first picks to be on that soundtrack.
Mine too.
I'm glad we agree. So the next segment is something which is equally hated and plagiarized in equal measure. So brace yourself. It's called Desert Island Discs. So you got one album, you got one movie, and one luxury item, and you're stranded on a desert island. What would they be?
The one movie would be The Big Lebowski. My one album would be one album, only one. Frank Black, Teenager of the Year. And
very good choice.
One luxury item would be a luxury item. An umbrella.
An umbrella, yeah. Great. Again, something that you really need, but you don't think about it until you need it. So great choice. And here at UDS, we like to advocate positivity. And one of the ways we do that is through inspirational quotes. One of my favorites is, "I can't believe I ate the whole thing," because it works for basically anything in life and it really gets you through, particularly these difficult times. So with that in mind, what would be your inspirational quote to share with the world?
If you chop your own wood, it'll warm you twice.
That's genius. I love that.
Because whenever you chop it, you get hot and sweaty from the workout of chopping all the wood. And then whenever you burn the wood, it warms you in the fireplace. So if you do all the hard work yourself and you work really hard to make your dreams come true, not only do you benefit from the lessons that you learn in creating and forging your own path, but you also appreciate the fruits of your labor whenever you bear the fruits of your harvest.
Absolutely. Everything's either tastes better or feels better if you do it yourself.
I agree.
So obviously none of us can really plan into 2020. The year is mad. It's just mad. But as much as you can, what does the rest of 2020 have in store for you?
Well, the album comes out on April 24th. And the second that we're able to get out of this shit and go out and get into a venue and play punk shows, that's the first thing we're going to do. I don't know if that's going to be in June. I don't know if it's going to be in July. It's hard to say at the moment. But at the earliest opportunity when they're back to booking shows, we are going to book as many as we can and just go out there and play. We're lucky that we have great friends and great promoters in certain towns that we do well in, that we can just call up and say, "Hey, can we get a show at a venue? Can we get a show at a bar? Can we play a weird basement show? Can we play in a barber shop?" If it's going to be the first time we're coming out to play some gigs, let's really do it and let's have like a fucking ball with it. So that's the plan for now. A lot of the touring that we had got rescheduled to the fall. All of our fall touring that we had scheduled in the UK and Europe, unfortunately, is going to be rescheduled to the spring of 2021. We had plans to make it out there, but with all of this happening, everything is just getting pushed back, unfortunately. We have a great booking agent at Destiny Booking, and they're really awesome to us. So we're gonna make a kick-ass return in the spring of 2021. But yeah. I mean, if we have downtime and we're not able to play shows, maybe we'll get together and start recording some new music. I don't know. My book is completely open, and I'm on pause, I think, the same way that most folk are.
Cool. So hopefully when you can come over to the UK next year, we can finally have a crisp high five without having to use hand sanitizer.
Yes, but I still will be using hand sanitizer, and it's nothing personal.
That's fine.
I'm just now conditioned to it. I mean, even though it's only been a very short period of time, and I think it's going to be a while until my mind turns off the hand sanitizer thing.
That's very sensible. You have no idea where these hands have been.
I
Anyway, the one question we end every interview with is we are UDS, which stands for Upside Down Shark. Don't ask me why, it's just the name we chose and it's stuck. So with that in mind, Derek, what would be your favorite shark? It can be either real, it could be fictional, it can be Jaws, Bruce from Finding Nemo, Great White, Hammerhead, whatever you like. What is your favorite shark?
I like the shark that have the softest teeth. Whichever shark has the softest teeth, I think I'm not exactly what they're called, but there's a certain shark that have gummy bears for teeth, and whenever they go to bite you, you just get sucked down into their belly into a whole world of gummy bears, and you live there. And there's families that live in that shark's belly, and there's its own economy. And they don't use money. They just trade different colored gummy bears. And the sun shines all day inside of that shark's belly. And there's no voting, and there's no politicians, and there's no war, and there's no sadness or heartache. It's just like a utopian society. It's kind of like Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory when you first walk in to the movie, but it's just gummy bears.
That sounds amazing. That is the future I am aspiring for. Wow.
And there's no diabetes either. There's a lot of gummy bears, but no diabetes and no cavities. So you're fine to just go for it with no repercussions.
There is no catch. There is no catch. That is beautiful. That is truly inspiring. Derek, where can people find you online?
You can go to a number of different places. You can go to www.thehomelessgospelchoir.com, and that's you can subscribe to the mailing list, and you'll find out all the online shows that we're doing. And then whenever we're allowed to be in real human contact, real human shows that we'll be playing. And you can go on Instagram at THG Choir. You can go to Twitter or Facebook, anywhere on the internet. As long as there's internet available, those sites are available. I think so.
There we go. Derek, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time today.
Tom, you be good and keep up with that hand sanitizer. Wash them real good, bud.
I will do. And thank you very much for watching at home. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. All of that nonsense for more interviews, reviews, stupid videos that we do. And most importantly of all, stay safe out there and wash your hands.
There's more